It's the Midwest Connectz, and we keep the streets on smash.
Magazines take your gun. Touch more paper than the teller. Going for the bullshit whenever.
Other, other promoters, other marketers, other bloggers in these markets, so that when we get there, we can do things like this and help the artists get their word out a little bit. So that's all we're trying to do, is connect the dots.
Mobile, Alabama, to be here tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got Chicago coming up. We got Cincinnati coming up. We're doing a 5-city tour with Empire, giving away a single distribution deal in 5 Midwest cities. We got Benzino coming to my market. We got Benzino coming to his market. We got a lot of stuff working currently. Big Buzz is coming to a Halloween party. I don't know if y'all get down with country rap, but we doing that for Halloween, man. Just a lot of stuff working. Like I said, I'm excited to be here. We're here to check out the talent. Hopefully bring somebody on a couple of these shows. You feel me? Tonight, so everybody tune in. Make sure y'all networking, because again, your network is your net worth. You hear me? Midwest Connectz, you ain't connected? Let you respect it.
Y'all know what time it is, man. If you here, you already know, man. Shouts out to y'all. This is our second interview of the new year, man, and one of the biggest artists I've ever had on this show. It is the Connectz Radio Show, and you know what we do. We bring y'all the hottest and unsigned and independent hip hop and R&B, plus interviews with the brightest stars in the culture, man. This gentleman that I have coming on this show has got to be one of the biggest, man. Instagram following over 500,000. His new joint is doing numbers all across the internet. He goes by Jerk the DJ. Jerk, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, bro? Thanks for having me.
No, man, appreciate you tapping in with us. 24 is going to be a big year. What you got planned for the first quarter?
Oh, man, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to keep up with all of it. But, yeah, lots of interviews. Starting to work on an album right now. There's going to be a lot of features on there. Really good features. So I'm really excited about this year. I'm working on a book that I'm putting together about my life. Man, just a lot of stuff. Yeah, music and a lot of traveling. I'm going to probably be overseas 80% of the time this year. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be a really busy year, but I'm excited about it, man. A lot of cool stuff in the works.
No, it sounds great. Your bio gives a little bit of your history, man. You actually moved to this country early 90s. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from South Sudan, a lot of people, they look at me, and they're like, this guy is definitely from somewhere in Africa. And so, yeah, my family line goes back to, they call us the Nubians. So it's all the folks, it's kind of a generic name for all the folks that are in Sudan and Egypt and Ethiopia. So those are really my roots. But yeah, there's a big civil war that happened in the 80s. So my family's had to get out of there. My father was able to get asylum over in the US. So he came here first, like in the late 80s, and then he had the rest of the family come over in 93. So
okay. All right. And you've been in the music game a long time, since you were a teenager. Talk to us about how you kind of got your start in music.
I think it was really by chance, to be honest. When I was growing up, like I wasn't really thinking about music at all. I wasn't rapping, I wasn't singing. I knew early on that I'm not a singer or a rapper, but, I'm a creative person. And, I have the ear, like I like, like when it comes to quality, like I can see quality really fast, and I could also hear quality in things. But it was basically, there was a studio that opened up near my house when I was in the 8th grade. So it was like, the reason I'm saying is by chance is because had we stayed at the old house that we were at when we first moved to the US and didn't move to that area where they had a studio open up nearby, like chances are I would have probably just been doing boxing or something else, because I had a coach. I was boxing in like 8th grade. Like he was really pushing me to be like a professional boxer. Like I had golden gloves and things like that. So I probably would have did boxing. But when they opened up that studio, my friends would be like, "Hey man, after school," they're like, "Hey, let's go over there, man." Like, cause I had some friends that, you know, they were rapping like even in 8th grade. So I was surrounded by a lot of guys who were like really into music. So we just go in the studio and we're sitting down, and they have Fruit Loops in there. They have Pro Tools. And guys would come in and like make beats and things like that. I'm like, all right, this is cool. So I started getting into it. I started working with Fruit Loops a little bit. And then it really became competitive because you had a group of guys in there that would go, and we would spend like pretty much right after school, we all just hang. That was the spot, you know, we all just go there. And basically I'll see other guys, like they'll make their beat, and then and then it's like somebody would rap over it. So it became like, oh, who's the best beat maker, you know? So that was kind of what drove it. So I was like, okay, well, like I'm a competitive dude, man. Like I'm not gonna let somebody else outdo me when it comes to making beats. So I was sitting there, like I'll spend like until like they close, like at 9 or something like that. Security guy is like, man, you're the next Dr. Dre, dude. Like you're here like until late night, even after everyone leaves. So yeah, so I think those are kind of work. Yeah, put in that work, like really getting in there, like I didn't like that they were saying the other dude was better than me. So I'm just like, nah, like I'm going to sit here and put something together. And eventually I did put something together that caught some, like, caught the ear of one of the radio DJs in the Bay in Oakland. I don't know exactly how he got my track, but I'm guessing after the studio shut down, like he took all the equipment with him and was probably going through all the music in there that you know, none of the guys are in there saved. You know, we were just messing around. We didn't save any of it. So I heard one of my tunes there playing it. I forget the exact name of the radio station. I think it's KML or something like that. And I just heard it on the radio, and I was like, oh, well, that's my beat. That's crazy. Yeah. And I heard the guy speaking. Like I heard the guy speaking, and I was like, oh, that was one of the dudes that used to be in the studio. Like, you know, he became a DJ for the radio station. So
nice. Nice. So it just kind of branched out. So everything just kind of happened from there. What was your first major placement? When did you know you really had a big hit on your hands?
Man, I guess it wasn't until I started, you know, recording in LA and released, I would say Warning was probably like my first, like I would say like, you know, like really good quality, track that like people were just like, all right, this dude's a pro now, you know what I'm saying? Because the stuff before that, like that was recording at the Yo Spot, like I didn't know anything about mixing, I didn't know anything about sound engineering. We're just laying stuff together, you know. So you know, the funny thing that happened there was you know, Debo actually stopped by from Friday, recording there one day, and like, you know, and I was talking to him because I saw him rolling, and like it was like what kind of car is it? It was like, you know, it wasn't what I was expecting, basically, you know? And so I walked up to him, I was like, man, like, why are you driving this old car, man? Like, you on Friday and all that? And he was like, bro, like, he was like, you know, don't believe what you see on TV, young man. Like, he kind of said it in that way. He was really, like, formal. And, like, he kind of put his hand on my shoulder, and he was like, I saw you in there. Like, it looks like you really like music and stuff like that. So we talked a little bit. And he's like, you know, go up to LA. He's like, if you really want to pursue it. He's like, you're still young right now, but like, if it's something that you really want to do, like, go up to LA and you'll meet some guys out there that'll help you get to the next level. So that's how I ended up thinking about LA, because in San Diego, like, there's not a really like big major like music scene, you know, in San Diego. You know, there's no major studios that everybody goes to. So that kind of opened up my mind into something that I never really thought about, like go to LA, you know. So I went out there, checked out the studios, and it was like, okay, like this is different. Like I was looking at some of the big gears, like the mix tables that they had over there. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. I'm like, what do you even do with that? So over the years, like I think starting in like 2011, 2012 was when I really started getting serious working in the studio. Pretty much like almost every weekend I'll be in LA, like recording out there. Paramount Recording Studios, like, I mean, you see everybody out there. Kanye West would walk in and out. Wiz Khalifa stumbling into my session. And then Skrillex has his like all of his equipment on the ground. Don't touch the stuff because he's got a session there. So I got, that's where I really got to learn like what it takes to get a quality track. So I work hand in hand with the sound engineers. Got really good at mixing, and then the second part was mastering. So they told me it was actually I ran into MC Hammer's cousin. Like he was like at one of my sessions. Yeah, he kind of dropped by, man, and at that time I was trying to figure things out. Like, okay, like what I need, what's the next step? Like now I got to mix. Like what do I do next? And he's like, yeah, come here, man. He's like, go over to Bernie Grumman. Like it's like you'll meet. He said, go ask for Brian Gardner. At the time, I didn't know who he was, but it turned out like he was like the dude that pretty much he was like Dr. Dre's like second, or number one really. He's the main guy that Dr. Dre goes to for mastering. He did all of stuff. He did all of like G Unit stuff. Funny story is when I went in for him to do my master, Dr. Dre actually called. Like, so he was like mastering it, and I get a call. This is at the time when Dr. Dre is bringing up Kendrick Lamar. So it was like around 2014. I forget exactly when it was. But he put on speaker, and I was just kind of like, whoa, that's crazy, man. Dr. Dre's like, hey, when is the track going to be done? So that was
that's dope.
But he's the one. So Brian Garner was the one that mastered that Warning track, which, I mean, if you listen to it, like drums, everything is like, I mean, you don't get any better than that when it comes to music production, or music quality wise. Like, there's quality, and then there's the catchiness, right, of the tune and how it makes people feel, like what it talks about, like does it connect with people. But at the quality level, definitely like that's the best quality you could get.
For sure. And having all of that quality and all of that experience, talk to us about how your new song came to be, how you landed the features, and we're gonna debut it here on the show.
Cool. Yeah, so Fast Lane, I started working on that track like in January of 2023. Like at that time, it was just kind of like I was just thinking about, like, because I also have other businesses that I do, and I was at a point in my life where I was like, man, I'm finally like making some good money, like, so I was kind of in that mindset, like, all the hard work I've been doing now, finally, like it's coming to fruition, like there's really, I'm starting to feel good about my finances, and so I was just thinking about like, well, like how did I get there, and like kind of like just like my financial journey, like all the things that I tried, to try to get there, and I realized like, a lot of the stuff is really like we all, like a lot of people, like we're all trying to get there as fast as possible, right? You want to take the step to get money as quick as possible. And so this song kind of tells a story of like, I thought it was a fast lane. So all these experiences that I had in my life, like people coming in like, hey man, like try this, that's fast money, right? Like all these different schemes. And, just kind of a journey of walking through all that. Like I thought this was the fast lane, but it wasn't. And, now I'm finally stacking up the way that I wanted to stack up. And really, in reality, it wasn't the fast lane. It took me many years to work to get to where I am now financially, and to get to where I am like skill wise and knowledge wise. So this song just kind of goes through those emotions and the story of it's basically a story of my life a little bit, part of it at least.
All right, man. Y'all gonna hear it right here on the Connectz radio show. This is Fast Lane, Jerk the DJ featuring Caine and Lotty Scotty.
My pockets swole, I've been hustling. Go hard, making moves as I never slow on the road. Want to smoke, I'm burning rubber, man. Speed it up, I been getting to the bag, man. Hold up, thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. Thought it was a fast lane. Ooh, I thought it was a fast lane. Stack it up, don't crash, I'ma stack it up. Yeah, I be getting to it. Run some money up, cause it ain't shit to do it. School of hard, not glad I ain't still a student. What I learned, you still trying to know. Bitch, I graduated a long time ago. This world been cold, talking 9 below. Fuck it, bundle up and grind some more. I'm a little crazy, but I ain't lazy. I done did everything, trying to survive. I done worked the streets with a 9 to 5. I been sitting in the whip with a lot on my mind. Mainly thinking about the money, never not on my mind. Run the bag up till it's some on my eyes. Run the bag up till it's some on my eyes. Got a lot in my pocket, but I'm motherfucking tired. I been up like a zombie, but looking to lie. All gas, no brakes when I put it in drive. All gas, no brakes when I put it in drive. You know my pocket swole. I been hustling. Go hard, making moves as I cruise through the city, man. Never slow on the road. Want to smoke on burn the rubber, man. Speed it up, I been getting to the bag, man. Hold up, thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. Thought it was a fast lane. Ooh, I thought it was a fast lane. Stack it up, don't crash, man.
Yeah, what you thought I wouldn't see for? Grew up poor, didn't start till I see dope. Green light, but we ain't trying to get indicted. The main reason that I get paid when I write. 2 wrongs don't make it right. But if you sled on them niggas enough, then you'll be alright. It's on sight, praying only me hope. So I change with the change when we never been broke. Slow money fast, get it gone cash. But I know why she here, so I hit it the impasse. There's no way you don't elevate with a whole day. The model stay you and don't care what a hoe say. Break past to the middle when I ain't work. In the fast lane cruising, but in the hurt. Blowing money like H&M. But on the low, they be keeping him. Know a lot of heat with him. Never played, so I ain't about to start. The first car I ever bought had an auto start. I ain't outside, but you see me a lot. And the first thing we say is don't be on the block.
You know my pocket's swole. I've been hustling. Go hard, making moves as I cruise through the city, man. Never slow on the road. Want to smoke on burn the rubber, man. Speed it up, I been getting to the bag, man. Hold up, thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. Thought it was a fast lane. Ooh, I thought it was a fast lane. Stack it up, don't crash, man. Stack it up. Talk big shit, back it up. Stack it up. Talk big shit, back it up. Back this shit up. I'm in your line like it's a fast lane. I be in your line like it's a fast lane. Ain't no slow line. Yeah. Thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. I thought it was a fast lane. Treat everything fast lane.
Oh yeah, you got one of them ones. That's a burner right there. So talk to me about how it came together, how you knew who to put on that beat, how that, how'd that process go?
Yeah, so it was kind of like so Lotty Scotty's on there, right? So me and him did a track before this called Showing Out. So he's the one that's singing on the track. So, already like I was already familiar with his vocals and like, how he works and everything. Originally I was thinking I was going to have, there's another singer that I was going to have on there. He signed to like Sony Records. What's his name? I forget his name now. But yeah, I was going to have another dude sing on there, but since I had a good working relationship with Lottie, I was just like, let's go ahead and put it together and see like how it's going to go. So I already had the hook written, and I had kind of like the beat, just like the bare bones of it, just really the drums. I had the drums. I knew how I wanted the drums to kind of go together and like kind of the tone for the song. So I sent it over to Lottie, and he was like, "All right, cool. Like, this is dope." So I was like, all right. So I flew out to Denver because that's where he lives. So Denver, Colorado is where we actually have a video of it. That's where we actually like started putting it together. And we literally put the beat and the song together in like I would say like 30 minutes.
Wow.
The only thing that I did, but it was already because I already had the idea. Like I already had the idea for the hook. And Lottie actually like changed it up a little bit. Like the original kind of tone of the song was different. But he put his touch on it. And like, so when I heard it, like, because I don't want to give him too much structure. Sometimes I like to hear what the artist is going to do with it as well. Like before I go in and say, okay, like, let's shape it this way. And he went in there and was like, my pocket's swell. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. I like, let's go with that. But yeah, he wrote his verse himself. Like he wrote it like in no time. Like he's that good. Like he just I think he wrote his verse in like maybe like I would say like 20 minutes at the most. Like he just went back there and like he was quiet in the back of the studio. And then he came back. He was like, "I'm ready. Like put me in the booth." And like he just like 2 takes. That was it.
Knocked it out.
Yeah, this dude is dope. And so after Denver, I came back and I was thinking like, who else do I want to put on the put on the second verse? So I was thinking between either it was going to be I reached out to Young Buck and he was actually going to be on the second verse, but then it was kind of like he came back with a big price, and I'm just like, man, like I'm not going to put that much budget on this track, like So I was like, okay, who else could I go with? So then it came down to it was basically Caine, because I was already familiar with Caine's like me and Caine have been like kind of like linking up on Instagram a little bit. So I was familiar with his
We're gonna try to get this right. This internet's acting.
You able to hear me? Is it breaking up?
All right.
Are we good now?
All right. Trying to get you together now. It's just acting a little bit wonky. So I want to make sure I'm getting all this good information to everybody that's tuned in, man. And shouts out to everybody that's doing great.
All right, just let me know. Just give me a thumbs up when we're ready to go.
Hello,
you good now?
We good?
Yeah, I'm checking with you.
Perfect. No, I just, shouts out to everybody tuned in, man. If it wasn't for the viewers and the listeners, we wouldn't be doing this. Jerk, man, you're incredible. So the journey is I mean, obviously it's ever changing. Your sound has changed over time, obviously, not just quality wise, but what you're listening for. That sounds obviously, sounds brand new. It sounds like what's going on in the industry. How do you know to make the adjustment? It's not like really wave riding. You're creating the new wave of music. So how do you differentiate and how do you make that kind of the thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with all the new music that's out and all the old stuff. I do a lot of homework, in order to master anything, you got to be a student. Like you can't just be like a lot of people think they could just come in and just like put something out and be different. But if you don't know how different you are from all the other stuff, you're just shooting in the dark, you know what I'm saying? So you have to do your homework and you have to know how different like yours is compared to everybody else, and it can't be like such a difference that nobody likes it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's still you basically, I mean, you have to know what you're doing. That's it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know the overall sound. Like a lot of the guys who are really good at what they do, they study everything. So they know what they're doing and they do it on purpose. Like it's not by accident. The way it's gonna come out at the end. So yeah, I do a lot of research. I listen to a lot of different songs, blues, you call it, like you name it, like EDM, house music, everything. I listen to everything. So I get a pretty good feel for where like my song is going when I'm putting it together.
Nice. Nice, and that's what it takes, man. Being a master of the craft. So you could easily say you've got 10,000 studio hours and 10,000 listening hours, man. It takes
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah,
It
yeah.
definitely takes that. What advice would you give to some artists? I do have a lot of artists that listen to my show. I, help break the music. So what advice would you give to an artist who obviously hasn't accomplished as much as you have, or wants to be where you are?
Uh, yeah, I mean that's a big question. Everybody kind of have their own journey. But I would say like a big thing is really networking. Like, don't be afraid to network with like even the big folks that are out there. Because you can't work in the house by yourself. Like
Right.
like you can't be a lone soldier in this. Like you definitely need the network. You need to go out work if you really want to take yourself to the next level. Go out to major studios. Now, of course, time and time again, somebody comes up with something in their own house by themselves.
Right.
But that's rare, and a lot of times it's by accident, like unless they really, they've done their due diligence. But if you don't want to be like a one hit, wonder, you really have to do your homework, network so that you know who to go to. Like right now, I work with people that I know. If I have something really good, I could give it to them, and they could get it out to the radio. They could get it out, uh, where it needs to be in order
Right.
for it to be heard. 10 years ago, I couldn't say that. Like, I could make something really good. Like I felt like I had some really good songs back then, even like Warning, and like I had stuff that was played on the radio. But it's like, how do I get it? Like, how do I get it to all the radio stations? Like I didn't ask the guy that was playing. It wasn't a planned thing. It was just like he stumbled into my track. He happens to be a DJ at the radio station. He's just playing it because he likes it by
Right.
himself. But yeah, networking is a big thing. Definitely do your study, be an expert, because when you're an expert, you're going to stand out. Like, you know what you're talking about. You know exactly what you're trying to do. That's going to come in handy. And then networking is going to give you those avenues to get yourself where stuff needs to be. Because it really takes a person with resources and with knowledge to say, okay, like, let's take this. This sounds good. This is what we can do with it to get it out there.
Right. Right. No, you're absolutely right, man. Artist, he's dropping gems. He's giving y'all diamonds right here. Learn your craft on the highest levels. Make sure you're networking with those in positions that you want to be in. Those are the two big gems I took from that right there. Jerk, man, it's definitely been a pleasure. I know you're a busy man. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. Is there anything that I didn't ask maybe that you want to leave with the people?
Yeah, no, I think you asked all the right questions, man. I appreciate, being here. Thanks for having me. We'll keep in touch, and
For sure.
like I said, if you, like I'm open to networking. Like, I'm on Instagram. Hit me up.
Yeah.
If you have a question on anything that you feel like is kind of something that you want to know more about in the industry, I could definitely try to help.
Appreciate you, man. Y'all hear him, man. He says find him on Instagram. Where can they find you on all your favorite socials?
So this is on all the social media. It's gonna be real jerk _ the and then _ DJ. But you can just type in real jerk and you'll find me.
Pull right up. All right, man. Make sure y'all tap in. You are connected. You are Respect the Jerk. We appreciate you. And I'm gonna just ask real quick. That's kind of a different name, Jerk the DJ. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, that came up when I started getting into DJing. Like, like a lot of people think it's like jerk, like the actual like jerk. But originally what I was saying about it was like, because there's like DJ spin, there's DJ this. I was like, okay, like it's kind of like, because you have to jerk like the turntables.
Yeah.
I was kind of going with that. And I thought it was something that people would remember. Like, and it gets a reaction too. Like people are like, oh, jerk the DJ. Like people, like once they see it, it's hard to forget it,
Wow.
Otherwise, there's names that you put out there, but people easily forget it. So I wanted to come up with something unique that people won't forget easily.
Nice.
At least.
Nice, man. We appreciate you again, Jerk. And we going to stay tapped in. We might be having another conversation a little bit later this year, checking in on some of those projects you got working.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely. We'll keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Y'all heard him, man. Jerk the DJ right here on the Connectz Radio Show. My job is to introduce y'all to the hottest artists, the hottest music, and the brightest stars in the culture. And that's what we're going to continue to do here in the 2024, man. Y'all know what I'm going to say next. Every episode is powered by bettersblock.com, getyourbuzzup.com, midwestmixtapes.com, straightofficial.com. My big homies, special shouts out to Big Hef. My big homies, the Nerve DJs, the Fam, the Flea DJs. Y'all know what it is. We, of course, the Midwest Connectz. If you ain't connected, you ain't respected. All you got to do is tap in next week. We're going to bring y'all some more of this super hot music, some more of these dope interviews, man. Y'all know what it is. Shouts out Guapo again, man. You've been on it the whole time, man. Shouts out, bro. Make sure you tap in. You can find this and every other interview we do on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, man. Just everywhere. Tap in with the kid.